Hi, I'm Paula Leach, and I'm founder and executive coach at Vantage Points Consulting. We focus on building mastery in leading people. What do you think about when you think about that phrase, leading people? I want to challenge and maybe offer a broader perspective as we go through this session today. So, having spent nearly 30 years in organizations, both multinational, big private, big public sector, and also entrepreneurial businesses, leading people actually is a much broader concept than sometimes we think. So often we will think about leading people focusing on leading our teams. So we are the leader and we have a pyramid and we lead our team. Or even we might work in an organization where we have quite a flat structure. But we often will think about that phrase, leading people, as requiring us to be in a management or leadership position, and we have people who work for us. But in actual fact, I think there's 5 different ways in which we lead people. Only one of those actually requires us to be in a leadership or managerial position. So let me share some of those with you today. We should be nurturing and thinking about developing this capability within ourselves and within all the people that work with us throughout our organisational journey, from the beginning all the way through to the different stages of what we do in our working life. So yes, the first and most obvious way that we might think about leading people is leading our team. So we may have any size team. I could be talking to you as the leader of a team of 5 people. You could be the leader of thousands. Leading people, inspiring those people, engaging their sense of purpose such that we deliver an outcome. We move from where we are today to where we're going, A to B, and we do so as a shared endeavour, and we get the best out of everybody along the way. So leading people can absolutely mean and does mean leading a team. But leading people is broader than that. It can also mean leading upwards. So anybody ever worked for somebody where you have had to think about managing upwards? Sometimes it's really interesting. We think we shouldn't have to do that. We think that our leaders should be, all knowledgeable about how to lead us and how to get the best out of us and all of those sorts of situations. But there can be a couple of reasons why that isn't always the case. Our leaders are very, very busy. It's a challenging role. The higher up you go in an organisation, there's lots going on. I always think it's really fascinating when we reframe the idea of what we should expect from our leaders, and we are in service. Leading people, actually, whether it's leading your team or leading upwards, is always being in service and not being in judgment of what we should expect. So it could be that our leaders are really, really busy. They've got lots happening. We are one part of a big jigsaw that they are trying to manage. So how can we be in service? The second part of that is many, many people occupying leadership positions in hierarchical organisations haven't done this work, haven't done the work because they're leading from a task perspective rather than a human perspective. Or because by achieving that position, they've arrived as a leader, whereas actually we all know it is a continuous practice. So we're all humans at different levels of our maturity in terms of how we see ourselves in the world and our own self-awareness. You may find yourself in an organisation where your level of human interaction maturity is at a more senior level than that of you, the person who is leading you. So just something to think about. How can you be in service? And the best question to ask is, what fundamentally is the need of that person? How do you service their most important need so that then that enables you to have the freedom to be able to then manage what you need to do and what do you need from them? So managing your team, managing upwards. The one that actually I find is almost universally, when you get to a senior level in an organization, the most challenging of leading people is leading peers. And we actually often don't even think about it. We don't think it's our responsibility sometimes because the boss is responsible for all these people that work, and then we're responsible for our team. But if we reframe that and take away the hierarchy to some extent and think we are in this leading together a shared endeavour, then part of our responsibility in leading people is leading our peers, leading across our peers, leading with our peers. And how do we create the best conditions for us all to be in a win-win scenario? So we're not all representing our departments up to the next layer or the next forum where we come together, but how do we actually create a collaboration where I might not be optimizing everything for myself, because I might have to take the next layer of what's possible in order to support someone else over here, and together we actually achieve the overall outcome. This fundamentally takes a lot of time and a lot of energy to build this collaboration into the way we work. But leading peers, I think, in my experience myself and also in organizations where I have been coaching people for many, many years, a peer relationship and the managing up are sometimes the most challenging aspects of leading people, and yet we often don't acknowledge them, because surely leading people is leading our team. So within our organization, there's these three different layers. But slightly broader, leading people also means leading our stakeholders, leading with our stakeholders, and that can mean anyone who is a person who we are interacting with, whether they are a customer, whether they're a supplier, whether they are part of governance within our organization. It could be a board member, it could be an investor. There's all sorts of different people that we're in the ecosystem that we work in that are part of our stakeholder group. And how we manage our relationship with those people is absolutely crucial to our success in leading people. And finally, the final aspect of leading people comes right back to home. It's about leading ourselves. And this is actually the foundation of being able to lead well in those other 4 different directions that we've spoken about in a wider organization. Learning how to lead ourselves is lifelong work. It's understanding our growth, it's understanding our opportunity. There's always space to grow, space to mature, space to learn, build our self-awareness. How was I experienced in this situation? How can I make a difference in this environment with these relationships? So when we talk about leading people, I really wanted to offer to you this expanded definition of leading people. I think it's really exciting. I think it opens up for us a whole range of possibilities as to how we can show up and do our best within those work environments. And these relationships and what is in our control to influence them and what is outside of our control is really interesting, reflective and active work for us on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. So I hope that provides a little bit of a broader context. It's absolutely at the heart of what we do. So when I'm working with clients, we will absolutely be focusing on how to build a team, how to get the most out of your team, how to engage your team, how to create a thriving work environment for everybody. We absolutely do that. But we do it whilst acknowledging a lot of these other relationships. And I would absolutely say, when I speak to elite clients, so elite leaders, either in the corporate world or those who are scaling up businesses, in both of those circumstances, some of the most challenging aspects of what they're working with is managing up and managing to the side. So managing their boss and managing the relationships with their peers. And negotiating and managing that space and those relationships can be really difficult, or it can actually be quite playful. It can be interesting. It can be exciting. And so we play with a lot of that concept in order to offer possibilities for how that can really make a difference to the thriving nature and the productivity of what you can achieve. Please do share this video if you found it interesting, if it creates a conversation or enables you to think a little bit more broadly about what we mean when we say leading people. Follow me on LinkedIn, subscribe to our YouTube channel, where we'll have lots more content and lots more thought starters to enable you to broaden your perspective and lead people really well. Thank you.